Are you saying you faked with me?
Yeah.
Wrong. Now you're single.
What do you know about sexual relations?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
You're listening to the Come With Us podcast, talking the good, the kinky, and the ugly. Here are your hosts, Beth, Aaron, and Tina.
Hello, hello, all you sexy holes and foals. Welcome to another Come With Us podcast, where you're part of all the naughty, sexy, fun conversations that everyone wants to listen in on. Because let's face it, at Come With Us podcast, we've got all the sexy information that every man should know. I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius, and you can find more about me, my book, my classes, everything at bethdarling.com. Sign up for my newsletter and stay in touch that way. I'll send you little love letters periodically. So today I'm here with Aaron and Tina, and Aaron and I started this conversation last week about our trip to Naughty New Orleans, a lifestyle swinger event that we went. Sadly, Tina couldn't participate with us this year, but we're getting her all excited for next year because I swear we're going to be back next year. So
for sure. Definitely going to be back. It sounds, if you listen to our first episode, you'll get, a little bit of the details, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was a lot of fun.
It was 4 days of, I was only there for 2 of them, but it was 4 days of just fun. Like, New Orleans is a fun city. See, this is my thing is if I ever meet somebody who goes, oh, I don't like New Orleans, I can never have fun in New Orleans, I don't ever want to be around you. You cannot go to New Orleans and not have fun. Whether it's just listening to a dude play trumpet on the corner, whether it's going and eating some of the most amazing food you'll ever, whether it's,
God, yes.
and we had talks with friends of ours who were talking, they're like, oh, I'm not really much of a drinker, the partier type. And I was like, cool. Bourbon Street's not for you. Garden District is for you.
Yeah,
there's a historic district. There's museums. You cannot go to the city of New Orleans and not have a great time.
Well, you can, but if you don't have a good time, it's about you. It's on you.
Yes.
I say the
You're
same
just a
thing
miserable
about
person.
Vegas, right? I don't really drink. I don't gamble, but I love. And again,
there's shows,
just so
there's
many
tourism,
different things. Exactly.
There's shopping, there's everything.
There's ghost tours if you want. There's
There's pirate tours.
And I think it's the difference.
Beignets. Aaron brought me beignets from Cafe Du Monde, by the way. Yum, yum.
I love Cafe Du Monde. And I also think the cool thing about New Orleans is it's got like a ton of history too.
Yeah.
Like it's a very unique city in America that there's nothing else like it, So
And that damn city's seen every freaking war, barring the Revolutionary War.
Crazy.
It's one of the biggest historical landmarks. Like this guy, and people discount it so much of like, oh, it's just a party scene. No, I love that. Anyways, I need to stop going off on a tangent about how much I love New Orleans.
Because I only left. I did a couple of dinners outside the hotel and really in the cooking class, and that's about it. Other than that, I was in the hotel the whole dang time. Well, except for the sexual freedom parade. So
yeah.
Okay. So let's tell you.
Where did we leave off?
Let's tell her about the parade.
Yeah.
Okay. Friday night. Friday night. Like I said, the end of there's a party every night. If you didn't listen last week, go catch up. Every night there is a different theme party. Friday night is white linen night. So just like down here in the Heights where they have white linen night where you're supposed to dress in like a white button up or a white shirt, white pants, all that stuff. Plenty of people were doing that. But it's New Orleans and it was a lifestyle convention. So there were plenty more risque outfits. Some people were in like just white fishnet or like white net stockings, like that was it, and pasties. One woman who was very well endowed in her chest was wearing a like men's white button-up dress shirt and had it unbuttoned all the way down to her belly button. And like I literally was in the middle of checking my phone, and as I looked up at who was coming off the elevator, I glanced up and like I caught a glimpse of her cleavage, and she was like, you could take your jaw off the floor. I was like, honestly, I'm just trying to figure out who you are. Like, I was waiting on somebody to get off the fucking elevator. So,
so is this?
Yes, you've got nice tits. What you're flashing them to everybody? Don't fucking make it awkward.
Right. That's what I liked at that place. Was it was okay to look at people's boobs,
and it
stuff.
Was. But that was the thing is like she assumed I was, and that was the one time I wasn't looking at anybody's boobs. I was literally looking at my phone, texting my wife, and I heard the elevator doors open, and I knew we were looking for people. And I was like, and so that was the thing. Every time I heard the ding of the elevator, I would wait till I started seeing footsteps out of my peripheral, and I would look them from toe up to head to see who they were.
You guys said the costumes were amazing, and like I'm looking here even on the schedule and stuff, and they have like the pre-party parade with like and to help people get like looking good for it. And it says they had like body painters, like all this.
If you go to
crazy
Instagram,
stuff.
they have Instagram safe pictures
Yeah.
that are also will show you what
people were wearing.
like what people were wearing.
So
let me see if I can pull it
the
up.
parade
Awesome.
is in the hotel.
No, so the parade was on the street. And
Okay.
So this is where I got confused. But New Orleans does parades so regularly that what it is the parade is that you get a license and they close off the streets, and then all of us just basically strolled out. Now, some people were prepared and had hired or rented different floats and stuff, which was pretty cool.
They had a float for the Grand Marshal. They had
So it's like kind of like Mardi Gras a little
yeah.
bit.
So like
very toned down.
we'll
though,
post
right? 'Cause it
we'll
was
post the
just-
Instagram account so you can go check it out if
But
you want.
how
Yeah.
do you keep
So-
people out that don't have like tickets? Like it's right?
Right,
For the
so I
parade,
think
you
the-
could have.
The parade was open. So basically all of us who were at the event who knew about it, right? We dressed up in white and then we start walking and there's some music and
They had a
whatever. and stuff.
sign
And-
making area.
Yeah,
like one of the
you can make
ballrooms was
signs.
turned
Were
where you
y'all
could make
in
poster
the
boards.
parade?
Yes. So that's the thing. I didn't realize anybody could be in the parade.
Okay.
And frankly, you could have been standing on the streets and just decided to walk with us and
Right.
you could have been part of the parade.
There were
Okay.
a couple of people who did.
Yeah. And otherwise people just were.
Were there a lot of like
they-
gawkers and stuff? That
Oh,
were,
yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty fun. So, and I brought lube. I was throwing out, and handing out lube samples from Joe Lube for people and stuff.
Okay.
So it was fun, but it was definitely, it wasn't a formal. It's not like there were crowds lined up and waiting for us and stuff.
Right.
But we attracted attention. And then actually, you know what? One of the funniest moments, I totally forgot about this. Remember the motorcycle cop? Right?
Yeah, I have video of this on
Oh
my
my
thing. It's
God.
on.
We're gonna
I
have
know
to
it's on
post
other
that.
people's Instagram. Like it's on the Naughty Nolans Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But several people had brought a
Blow up dolls.
dolls, like the blow up old school sex dolls that you would see in the 90s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they were walking around with them, and there were motorcycle cops that escorted us all the way through to block traffic and all that stuff. And one guy just walked up and like straddled the cop on his bike, and he went and he took it all the way for a ride down the whole parade.
The person
route back
didn't
and
straddle.
forth.
He put his blow up doll
Oh,
to
yeah,
straddle
yeah.
the cop.
He
And
put the
cop
blow up doll
didn't-
straddling the cop.
didn't care.
No,
No,
the
he was having
cop
fun.
was laughing.
That's
And
so
that's
funny.
in this day and age where people are, cops have gotten so much shit and stuff. They were so good. They were so nice. They were so non-judgmental. And then this guy had such a good sense of humor because it was funny and we loved it. Everybody else who was on the streets loved it. It just made things real and it was totally silly fun. But I did totally lighten the mood and everything.
There was
a hoot.
there was a custom somebody had a custom, like, not float, but they built a scaffolding that actually had swings underneath it.
Yeah.
So like I just showed
And
you a
it was
picture.
like a float
there were
that it
six
walked
there were
along.
6 swings, and then there was one guy that they hired to just pull it on a bicycle. And I felt so bad for the dude because it was 100 degrees outside at night.
Yeah.
And this dude is pulling the weight of 6 humans plus
my
the
God.
scaffolding.
Plus,
And the
there
humans
was
are
a
dead
hammock.
weight.
Yeah,
There's
there was
also a hammock where
hammock.
2 people were laying in making out. Sometimes it was 2 women, sometimes it was a guy and a girl, sometimes it was just fucking crazy. But this poor dude had to pull it
Oh my
probably
God.
2-3 miles at walking pace with 6 or 7 adult humans just dead weight on it. I felt so bad for it. I was like, dude, I hope you got paid $1,000 for the night. He was like, put it this way, I made enough money to cover my rent next month. I was like, all right, good deal.
Good.
Oh
That's
wait, I
good.
see the
So they
video
took care of him.
of the cop and
Yeah.
the doll. I'm on
Yeah.
their Instagram right now. It's
Okay.
on. If y'all want to see
Yeah.
it, it's on their Instagram.
New Orleans
So-
PD are also some of the coolest. New Orleans PD
mean, they
and
see
Louisiana
so
State
much
Troopers are
shit
some of the coolest people I've
in
ever met in my life.
Denver.
Anyways,
All that, I'm sure that
Um,
they've
Okay.
seen it
Well,
all.
we'll
But
post
yeah.
we'll post some of our pictures and stuff on our
Yeah.
social media for Come With
For
Us
sure.
podcast too.
For
'cause that was
sure.
really
some of
that was
them,
very
because
cool.
some of them actually got people's faces in, and that's a very no.
Yeah, except the ones in the parade.
The parade
then they
were fine,
were
yeah.
open. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. We can't post.
And then there was like a ball afterwards. And
Yeah, there was a
stuff.
White Linen Night party
Okay.
that House of
Yeah.
Blues that we didn't go to because 1, the line was forever to get in,
Yeah.
and 2, that's when we went and recorded with Tiffany Anton and we talked about erectile dysfunction and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
And can you do like
yeah.
VIP stuff for an event like this? Like, is there such a thing as like VIP, like tickets for stuff? 'Cause
Like
you
for
said-
parties?
You guys talk about like all the long lines and stuff. Like, could people?
Oh, I don't think
no,
they
it
had
was just
that, no.
everybody's equal on that
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
front. If you're at the front of the parade, you're getting into the party
Yeah.
first. If
Okay,
you're at the
okay.
back, fucking wipe off your sweat and hold on.
Yeah,
we'll get you in
yeah.
when we get you in. Like
Yeah.
that was the thing, is that so many people were there, but they never overmaxed the capacity of a building that I know of.
Right.
So there were plenty there. Oh, we never. Okay, sorry, small diversion, because we never talked about the pool. Because
right.
you
Yes,
never went
tell-
to the pool?
No.
Okay, I
well,
went to the
yeah.
pool,
Go ahead.
which was on the 3rd floor of the hotel.
Right down from my
And,
room.
Yeah, I was going to advertise that, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
right down. And so there were pool parties going on every day, and so I brought
That's
my
where I
board
would be.
shorts, my
Yeah.
fishing shirt, and I was like, cool, I'm just going to sit out in the sun,
Yeah,
have
me
a couple
too.
of drinks, talk to some people, because that again. I was there because I wanted to learn everybody's story. Every person I talked to, I was like, okay, so tell me how you got to this point in your life. I
Exactly.
want to know who you are.
Exactly. It's so interesting.
And so I was like, all right, I'll go to these pool parties. Like, I'll go to at least one pool party, either Friday or Saturday, and I'll talk to people and all that stuff. Friday afternoon, I went and I walked down the hallway where the pool goes, and the pool itself was maybe the size of the room we're in and the room next to us.
Yeah,
that was the whole
very
deck
tiny
and pool.
Right.
It was clothing optional. And the pool itself was maybe about 7 feet wide by 12 feet long, packed butt to nut, naked people in it.
That
Literally.
is I think I've talked about this.
There
but
was-
my absolute worst nightmare. Like, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
cannot do
Claustrophobic?
pools. Like, well, it's because when I lived in Vegas, I would see, and I knew people who would like work at some of these like clubs and stuff, and they would tell me, just
Literally.
how disgusting.
Yeah,
Literally.
don't
Okay.
tell
So
me.
literally,
Yeah.
I walked and
Yes.
I was walking down there to look at it because I wanted to check it out. But there was an older couple who had to be in their probably late 50s, early 60s, who got off. I mean, they were older couples, but she was rocking a bikini. He was sitting there in like his
Yeah.
board shorts, and he had like a similar fishing shirt to what I had on. And they were like, "Yeah, we're just gonna go and swim for a while and talk to people." And I was like, "Cool." And we got there and we turned the fucking corner, and their eyes got twice as big as mine because they looked around. They're like, "There's nowhere to be. There is
Also-
nowhere to be." Like literally,
kind of weird. Like, everyone's naked in the pool. Like, people's random dicks. Like,
well, that was the
touching
thing. It's
you.
literally,
don't
and
know
I
about
went back to
that.
her, and she
Did
asked
you
me.
get in?
No,
Okay.
she didn't even go to the
No,
pool.
it's kind of
But
weird to
but
me.
I got
But
back
people
to
do
her,
this. Yeah,
and she
they like
said,
it.
and she said, "How is the pool situation?" And what did I tell you?
I don't remember.
I said, literally, the only way you are fitting another person in that pool is if they are inside somebody. Like
What
literally, you
about-
had
Yeah.
couples. Like, okay, so like, imagine here, and if you're watching on camera, it's not going to be as well organized. But imagine your back is pushed to my chest, and then there's another person facing you, and then there's another person facing their back. So it's a 4-person sandwich,
Were
and it was
people
like that
fucking
7
in the
feet
pool?
deep.
Were people
No.
fucking in the pool?
I mean, if they were, you couldn't tell because nobody could move.
Yeah.
There was no movement of fucking.
Also, what about like venereal diseases? And I'm sorry, like
right.
that
I don't
to
know.
me is just
Stop being logical like me.
Again,
and
some
asking
people
questions.
will like it and some people won't. And the good thing is, if you didn't like it, there were tons of
Sure,
other
yeah.
options.
It was
which
very,
really
it was a
nice.
very claustrophobic area to
Yeah.
me, and I was like, I
yeah. It's not
I wanted
my
to go
thing.
talk to people. I didn't want to like be rubbing on naked people because you would have had to like. There was a small corner where there were a group of women who all like angled their chairs so they could sunbathe topless.
Yeah.
But that was it. Like they had their backs to the rest of the party, so they had like a little clamshell of their chairs that were sitting there and just like getting sun on their tits and everything, which is cool. But then like that was the only area where anybody could probably breathe to
Yeah.
me. So
But some people like there's a thing called puppy pile. Have you ever heard of a puppy pile? So in swinger events and lifestyle, they will do this bunch of naked people will just basically clamber on top of each other, kind of like when there's a litter
It's a
of
dog
puppy.
pile.
It's a dog pile, and they're all naked and touching all sorts of parts and feet and under. And I don't get it. It's not my thing. But again,
sounds
it makes me,
claustrophobic to me.
I'm laughing with you because some people really get into it.
Yeah.
And, they think I'm crazy for wanting to be flogged. They're like, no, you could just touch people and it feels so warm and cuddly.
okay,
I'm like, okay, cool, right? Whatever.
But also
So
another. I mean, it
interesting.
is that I also find it a little
it's not my
strange to
thing.
me. But whatever. What
Yeah.
about if people get hard, like in the pool, like and stuff like that? Like where did
They
you see,
just
like,
I mean,
get
they
hard.
did you
just
see-
do.
I know, but did you see like a lot of?
no,
that?
you couldn't see anything because nobody was moving.
I
This is
know,
the
but
thing.
like walking around the pool because everyone was naked.
I didn't stay long enough to actually look
Okay.
and inspect any
I'm just
dicks
wondering.
because, well,
I don't
you
think
know.
being hard is anything that swingers get embarrassed about.
Okay, so that's not like it's not like a
No.
big deal or anything like that. Okay,
I don't think so.
But
okay.
I mean, literally. So the
Yeah.
pool
Ah.
pool incident was interesting to say the least.
yeah.
And
It's pretty fun.
some people, like I said, some people, like everybody there was completely comfortable with how packed in they were.
Because again, if you didn't
but-
like it, you didn't go. It's
You
not
could've-
like, oh, this was
But
the
you
only
could've put
thing
me.
to do,
But
and
this
you
is my thing:
complained
is
about
you
it.
could have put
Like,
me in there with fully clothed people. I still would have
Yeah,
been
I
uncomfortable.
I
agree.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have done that. I would have done the topless thing. I wouldn't have gotten in the pool, but I would definitely have done
Oh, yeah.
topless. I have no issue being topless. I wish we had
Yeah.
way more topless like beaches, or it was like totally more normalized. In
Oh,
America.
well, I think
like,
we have an invite to one of the nudist colonies in Houston.
Oh, I
too,
would love that.
around, not in Houston,
Yeah,
but
up
something.
towards the
I
hill
forgot where.
country.
I
yeah,
used to
we
be
met
like
people who own
We need
that
to talk to
stuff,
them and
too.
see
I
about
was like
going
a
out
huge
there.
nudist when I was like younger. I was
Yeah.
reading my summer, so I went to summer camp, and everyone writes at the end of your last year on your shirt. Every single person who wrote on my shirt had something about me being like a nudist or running around naked or
Oh,
like
funny.
shit like that. So
Again,
definitely
that's never
don't.
been my thing. I don't know, but
I'll be
people-
naked in
hey,
my own home.
Yeah,
I'm
not me.
totally comfortable being
Like-
naked.
I know.
Like,
Well, that's
so-
cool. I'm glad you guys like it, right?
Yeah.
but
that's
not in
the
a
thing.
pool
So
full of people. I'm sorry. That's where I
Yeah.
draw the line.
Yeah.
All right.
that's the only thing I would have liked if there was a bigger, nicer pool. But that's just. But
Yeah.
I would
But it's
say
also an old hotel.
it's an older hotel, and the thing
There's
is,
no
is
room
that
for that pool.
the,
or for a bigger
the
pool.
staff apparently at the hotel loves when Naughty Nolans is there because everybody is nice and happy and loving and kind. And because I kept talking to the staff going, oh, is it weird? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, they like
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're treated with respect.
Right.
And yeah, it's very, very,
And I mean,
very cool. So
And this
the
goes for
facilities
every
are lovely.
single. Goes for any type of trip like this, not just like lifestyle conventions or anything like that. And this is going to sound bad or what? I don't give a shit. If you're making those kind of trips, you are not wondering where your next meal is coming from. You are not worried about finances to the point of I can't afford to keep the power on at my house.
Well, sure.
So most of those
Definitely
people had the expendable income to also tip very well and be very accommodating to the people around them.
But you should probably
Hopefully.
preface too that like it's not just an event for people who are like
No,
you know,
it's not for people who have
flushed with
money.
cash
But
and like
no,
you don't
no.
need
No,
to,
but
you
it's definitely
But
these
anything like
events in
that.
this lifestyle
Any
are
event
aimed
like that.
to people who have some disposable
Yeah,
income.
sure,
Again,
right.
because the costumes, the travel
Yeah,
costs, the
of course,
expense of the
of
hotel.
Go to Comic Cons
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Right.
You're not going to find broke people at Comic Con.
yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
find people that live with their parents. Yeah, who cares? You've got
Yeah.
the money to get to fucking Comic Con.
I mean,
Yeah,
there are also
yeah.
people who like really, I'm sure, enjoy this lifestyle and save, and like you know, this is
Right.
something
And they
that
are.
This is their big thing.
Yeah, and they budget for
So
things.
you know,
But so many, and I think that's interesting too. Like the level of professionals and stuff. It's just huge because again, when you don't know, I don't know. I just thought swingers. I don't know what I thought, but again, that they're fringe people or they're just artists or hippies or some. But no, they're doctors and lawyers and accountants. Oh my God, so many accountants. I cannot tell you how many accountants.
that's so funny.
Yeah. My
Because-
theory on accountants is that they actually pick a profession that keeps them in the rules because if they don't have rules, they're wild.
So on TikTok, like fun fact, since you can't really say like stripper and stuff, that like the or like whatever if you're a sex worker and stuff, they use now accountant as the
my
word
God,
for
that's
like
funny.
like I'm an accountant, I'm like, and that's what that means.
Well,
so
That I could
and they are.
see.
I mean, they're counting money. Like,
They
you know,
definitely,
right?
definitely are. Yeah.
So,
What else were we going to go?
Yeah, so
okay,
what-
so you taught 6 classes. Let's talk about those real
Mhm.
quick because you had questions about all the different
all
classes
of
she
them,
taught.
Yeah.
Okay.
So start with Thursday. What was your Thursday classes?
Oh my God. Do you think I remember? I
Okay,
don't know.
fine. I'll pull up your
Yeah,
How to blow
Thursday
his
classes.
mind.
Hold on.
That was
No.
the main one, right? How to blow his mind while
That was Friday.
No, that's Friday. Okay.
Hold on.
So
Let me
Thursday,
find her
one
schedule.
day I did.
I don't want to be a slut.
Oh, that was right.
Okay, yeah. What
Okay.
what does that mean?
I don't want to be a slut. So the problem is that even when people are in the swinging lifestyle, I say even like me, and I'm talking about sex all the time, and I'm very open. The fact is, there's still part of me that is very concerned and worried all the time. Like, oh my God, are they going to think I'm a slut? Right? Is this too much? Are they going to judge me? Am I overcrossed? And because we grow up in a world that basically tells us women have 2 choices: good girl or slut.
Mhm,
And it is, even if we're acting in one way, there can be something internal
mhm.
that is judging ourselves, that is worried, that is afraid our partners are judging us or the people we're with or neighbor, whatever and stuff. So I think it's a really important thing to just recognize. So
Mhm.
that class was for, let's get this out. Let's stop pretending that you have to have gotten past it, because I don't know that we ever get past it completely.
Mhm,
There was one woman in the class who said no, she really had, which was awesome. I was like, tell us your secret.
mhm.
But otherwise, I think it's reasonable to say, what is it? And the fact is, some of us want to claim the word slut because sometimes I say, like when I'm in the midst of sexy stuff, I sometimes I like to be called a cum slut. It's really, trashy and dirty, and I don't know why it appeals to me, but it does. So getting comfortable, but making sure it's a wholehearted thing. So that was the first one.
That's interesting.
Intro to the pleasure of power. I've got your whole schedule here, so I'll just read them off.
Go. You're awesome.
Intro to the pleasure of power play.
Okay, so that one I do, and that's a variation. I say that there are two things in every relationship that are completely underused. One is our voice, and two is power. And so the power that we have in a relationship is we both have to decide to be in a relationship, because either one can leave. Then what we do with that power within is really up to us. And so this was about finding ways to use it. Let's say you're the one who doesn't necessarily want to have sexy fun as often as somebody else, as your partner wants to have. Then use that in terms of, okay, instead of not acknowledging it and putting it off on them, like, oh, they just are, sex driven or whatever, or something, they're too horny. Like, use it like, okay, what do you want? Well, maybe you want the dishes done. Maybe you want the lawn mowed. Then maybe you say, here's a cock ring, go put it on, mow the lawn. If you do a great job in half an hour, then you come in and then I'll let you go down on me. Suddenly you've used this power and you've turned it into a good thing. Things get done. Everybody's happy. Aaron is like, no.
I think about how sweaty and gross I get mowing the lawn. No, I don't want to touch anybody. I don't want anybody
you could
anywhere
shower first. No, but you could shower first.
But then the cock ring's ruined because it's got so much.
Oh, you just wash it off. There's silicone, they clean. But whatever. But, or you do the dishes or something. But so you can learn to speak up and to use the power in a way that actually works not just for you, but for your partner and the relationship. And too often we just think we have no power, and that doesn't work. So,
all right, I'll save the other one for the very end because that's the one that got the most feedback. Dom is different than asshole. Sub is different than doormat. That was a big BDSM power one that you did. Right,
because a lot of, again, that perception of BDSM is that it's about, it's selfish, that it's about aggression, abuse, that one person gets the benefit and the other doesn't. So it was kind of to disabuse that and to think about and find ways that you could still, again, have the power and stuff that you bring into the relationship and use it in a way that turns you on, turns your partner on, and lights everything up.
Right. How to avoid the same old swinger sex. That was interesting because I actually sat in on that one as not like, I guess not auditing, but I was taking pictures for you and, setting up this is the thing is once I got there Friday, you kept me working. When I wasn't out trying to talk to people and promote the podcast, I was the doorman for one class.
Yes.
I was attendance person. I did all kinds of shit.
Thank you. Yes. He was
so
awesome.
Yeah, the same old swinger sex. It was a room full of swingers or people who wanted to be swingers and stuff like that. I mean, you can take it from there, but
because I say, I talk about BMS, boring married sex, but swingers tend to have this same formula. It's like oral, then you switch oral, then you fuck, you change position, you fuck, and then hopefully, then basically it ends when he comes. And people are just doing
kind of
this.
like vanilla sex generally, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's just
BMS,
involves
right?
more people.
Yeah, and stuff. And yet they're afraid and don't know what to do to shake things up because it's so funny. I say once everybody's shed the societal norms and said, okay, great, we're going to be part of the swinger world, then what happens? They want to be part of the swinger world, so they're all trying to conform, which means that different, interesting, exciting things are not done. Everybody goes to the lowest common denominator.
What was the one question you asked that nobody could answer?
I totally forgot.
Oh, damn it. Okay. If I ask you, what is one thing that you think you bring to the bedroom when you're having sex that's special? Can you answer? Can you come up with something off the top of your head?
Right.
I'll give you... you know what? We don't want a whole lot of dead air, so keep thinking about it while I'm...
Yeah, but just to follow up, completely unique to me.
No, something that you're special. Something you're good at, something you're enjoying, something that you bring extra enthusiasm to, something that your partner...
In a room of swingers, why would somebody be like, "Ooh, I want to be with that"? Right, but I'm just saying partner. As an example.
I mean, I think I like a varied amount of sex. I'm not a one position type of person. So I like to change it up a lot during sex. And then too, I'm a pretty good squirter. So easy,
okay.
Or easy, those, but I have to think about it more.
But how long did it take you to come up with that?
10 seconds.
Okay. Now we were in a room full of 40, 50 swingers. So 25 couples. She asked that question. Literally, we had 30 seconds of dead air.
Yeah.
Think about,
That's
okay, now count
crazy.
to 5 in your head. We're going to just go 5 seconds of silence real quick and think about that times 6.
I mean, yeah, that's, but we're also, you do have to understand that like, this is what we do. You know, this is our
Yes.
podcast.
But you
we're
would expect
open
a group of swingers who have shed the societal norms or doing that.
Sure.
But at least one would be able to go, hell, I can suck a mean dick when I'm in a room full of guys and all the other women like watching me.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or like,
but
hey, by the way, I can put my legs behind my head and then I love people taking turns on me.
But
Something weird.
I think it's like if you ask that question maybe to them personally, it wouldn't like take them as long to answer. But when you're in like a forum and no one really wants to speak first and stuff, like I would have spoken up, right?
You would say that, but everybody was fine speaking first.
So that's, but it's interesting. And I think
that's really
what's
interesting.
What is relevant is, again, that people, just because they're having a lot of sexy stuff, doesn't mean that they're really, one, they're much better, or two, that they've actually thought. And I say, this is right. I have this sort of geeky approach to sexy.
I mean,
think about things.
That's a wonderful question. I even think we could almost make that into an episode just itself, like that question, because that is a really, really good question to like, to like ask people about their sexy life.
Yeah. Right.
So,
what makes you special? So that was good. Thank you for reminding me about that, Aaron.
Yeah,
I totally forgot.
That was that was probably the best question I've heard in relationship advice, anything in God knows how long, because you said it and I'm like, and you would ask questions. People were part of the conversation.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
I will always prioritize my partner's pleasure before mine.
Okay, but that's very, I guess, fine. Yeah, you're right. I know you. Yeah.
But nobody could come up with anything. And it was interesting because it wasn't like everybody was like you said, people were nervous. These aren't nervous people. None of them were nervous. They were all in on the conversation from the beginning. She had already had 2 women making out with each other who were like, couldn't keep their hands off each other the whole time. And then she asked that question and it was crickets. And I looked around and there was another woman who I recognized from somewhere. I think she worked the event or whatever, but she was sitting on the same row as me at the back. And we looked at each other and our jaws hit the floor and we're like, no one's going to come up with anything.
Yeah.
And it was very intriguing because that was one of the questions I thought about on the way home, that I started like, okay, well, I know what my first answer is, but I want to have 6 answers ready to go if somebody were to ever ask me.
I mean, that is really, really interesting that, when we think like BMS and we talk about BMS all the time, we do only think about it or generally talk about it in a 2-person like couple sense. Yeah. But you're right. It must happen in the swinging world all the time,
Yeah.
So
it really does.
And like every one of them was attesting to it, because she was like, how many of y'all have done it or just do it this way? That's the only way. Every single hand hit the ceiling. And they were like, and then they all looked around and they're like, oh shit, like we all really, like, we're supposed to be the spicy people in life and we're not spicy for shit once we get naked.
Yeah.
It was interesting. And then there's
really
no offense to them. Like everybody, but it goes to speak to the human condition of, you get into a routine, whether you're I'm not a routine person. I can't eat at the same restaurant more than once a year. Bullshit. Humans get in routines. That's the way we're designed.
Right. And we're afraid to be shunned. We're afraid to stand.
And when you have more people in the room.
I was about to say that. Like, I think a lot of people, maybe when they go into swingers clubs and stuff like that, maybe they don't want to do some of like the, stranger, weirder, or like unconventional things.
They don't want to be the one to
people are going to be like,
they're
to stand out. So,
it's
so
really
that was that one. And then this one, I was out walking Bourbon Street and putting up stickers and everything. You don't have to be a dom to enjoy mental domination.
Oh yeah, that was the last.
Packed.
Yeah, that was the last workshop I did, and it was really awesome.
They put you in the smallest room for that one, and that one was the most.
It was called. It's called what?
I said, you don't have to be a dom to enjoy mental domination. And I said, because mental domination, right, as soon as you can understand what somebody else wants, what they desire, what they respond to, then you can give them what they want. You can get what you want, like in a way that's a win-win. This isn't about doing something that's bad for people.
Right.
But it's again on that whole power thing, because this is my line of thought, is that it's really, what are we wasting? The opportunities we're wasting. And so one of the things, right, one of the common questions and issues for swingers is really over and over, they're so concerned about, how do I say no if somebody wants to play without upsetting them or pissing them off? And there was this one woman who said, like, she was dancing with her husband, and this other guy, they had sort of been flirting and stuff. Well, he was busy staring at her while she was dancing with her husband, and it was like enough. And but he hadn't overtly said, do you want to play? So she couldn't just answer that question.
Right.
She's like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, okay. I said, he's looking, you're catching him. Instead of avoiding that, your face, you take action. You take your power, you look him straight in the eye, and you wink at him. So you acknowledge, you make him feel seen and heard and appreciated, and you're flirting a little, and you say, hey, thanks so much. I'm going to go dance with my husband now. And then you nicely shift around so he's no longer looking at you and whatever. And you do that in the blink of an eye, and it's so smooth and it's important. And the husband I should have prefaced before that, had said, well, like, I didn't want to upset him, but I knew my wife wasn't comfortable. I was like, that's when you have to decide who's the priority.
Sure.
Is your wife the priority versus that? And he had never thought of that, right? You're thinking that these are equal, right?
You'd think that his wife would definitely be the priority.
Right. But he hadn't, because as soon as you know that, then you know exactly who you need to like or how you need to change. And you can do it in a very nice and easy way.
And there's a lot of the mental aspect of this lifestyle isn't easy. Like we talk about, like, and there is a lot of things you have to consider, people's feelings, how you're acting, stuff like that. So like, so that goes along with that. So it's not just the physical,
Yes. And when you pay attention, when you know what somebody cares about, when you know what somebody's insecure about, then you can help them, support them by giving compliments and stuff. Sincere, no bullshit. I'm never about that. But you can hone in and be like, oh, this person really needs a little dose of blah, blah, blah. And, there was one woman that cried
even
in
when
that
you're
session.
when you're in an open relationship, open marriage, or whatever, the person that you first signed on with, whether you do whatever, you're still supposed to be their number one protector. Male, female, doesn't matter. You are the person who knows them and has their trust and faith the most out of every person in the world. You're supposed to be their protector at all times. And being nice isn't like, I get it. Swingers are really nice people. Some people don't want to say no. You know what? It doesn't matter. The person who you are with, that you've committed your life to, whether or not you're, in a relationship with other people, polyamorous, whatever, you have one person that you are supposed to be there protect. Just like when you were, and if you're a swinger listening to this, remember before you became a swinger, when you were out at a bar and you saw somebody hitting on your significant other, what happened? You got the competitive, dominant male gorilla or dominant lioness, and you went over and you marked your territory. So every now and then, even being a swinger, you have to do that. You have to mark your territory and protect the one you're connected to.
Yeah. And go listen to our swinging episode, because we cover a lot of the Melfies. We cover a lot about this like exact topic, which is very interesting. So
all right, and then the final class, which was I've called it your like AC/DC closing out, or like the Beatles playing fucking Wembley or something. Your blowjob class, how to blow his mind while loving his body.
Yeah, so that's my signature. That's really one of my faves, and I loved especially because this is a group of people that routinely, right, boring swinger sex usually involves fellatio as well as cunnilingus. So teaching this group was, I thought, awesome, but it definitely made a difference because these are women who were willing to do it and stuff, but there was still part of them that didn't just love it.
And mostly women.
So the class was for women. That's how I teach. Okay, I want the women first because that enables them to say anything and everything they want and worry, and stuff. People who are worried about guys farting in their face and things like that. So we got to get all that out. But it was really powerful. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. We each got dildos and stuff to do. And it went incredibly well.
I mean, that was what, lunchtime on Friday.
Yeah.
All the way through Saturday night. Everywhere we went, there was at least one guy who would walk up and just hug her out of nowhere.
Oh my God. That's
and be
so
like, by
funny.
the way, you're like the fucking coolest person ever. Or
so
by the way,
funny.
you have just made my life, or
That's
my weekend
awesome.
is so much better. Like it was literally like walking after that class, like literally 45 minutes after that class ended, somebody came and found us in the hallway, and she this woman.
No, this was 2 hours. It was after the next class I taught.
Was
it was
too?
that. Yeah, it was that evening when we were heading to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it had been a couple of hours.
Yeah, she ran down the stairs and almost tackled Beth and was like, "You'll never believe what I just did," and I enjoyed it. And it was
Well,
like,
the cool thing is
Which is
everyone can
amazing.
have this experience too.
Yes,
So
exactly.
you don't just have to be in naughty New Orleans to have this exact same experience.
Yeah,
So,
you go to BethDarling.com and it's the How to Blow His Mind While Loving His Body, and you can watch it on video on demand, and you can get the counterpart to it, which is how to the art of orally pleasuring a woman. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very proud of this, and I love that it makes a difference, even for people who are doing it all the time. My approach is very different, so it was fun. And,
all right. So that was your schedule that we needed to knock off.
Yes. Okay. So now we're gonna close with we got to tell her about the +1 room.
Yeah.
Oh, you tell her about the +1 room. I don't fucking know.
+1 room. Okay, so this is what I love. I love about this like whole swinging lifestyle, right, is that it's just open and it is not about any one gender's pleasure. It's about everyone. So the +1 room is actually devoted for female pleasure. So it is a room full of men who are willing to do whatever a woman wants to please them, to please her, so that they are at your service. Can you imagine like having Chippendales at your service and walking in and going, whether you want one person to fuck you, eat you out, or just give you a back massage. If you want your partner to watch, that's totally fine. If you want your partner to participate, that's okay. If you want 3, 5, 6, you want to take turns, you want this position, anything you want, they are there, and it is all about you. No reciprocity.
And do you like pick your man?
Yes. Yes. And you don't have to, they tell you don't have to feel bad. If somebody starts talking to you, if a guy comes and he's not your type, you just say, "Hey, I actually might be interested in so-and-so." And they will get that other person.
And these people getting paid to do this?
No.
Okay.
This is their pleasure, right? Just like Aaron says, right? His gift is he loves to please a partner.
Sure.
These are men who absolutely love to sexually pleasure a woman. Love to do it. They work hard to, so this, because I'm like, okay, well, how many times a night do you come? And they're like, no, they basically try really hard not to come until late in the evening. And they'll tell, like they told me, if you want us to come on you, in you, whatever, then you just have to come back late at night and we'll happily oblige. But until then, we're trying to save ourselves so we can share ourselves with as many people.
Are they like participating in the Naughty New Orleans as like people, or they're not hired?
Right.
No, what I'm trying to get is they're not hired to do this.
No. Now they generally Naughty in New Orleans is couples, right? So they're to be a single, you have to get approval, right? Everybody has to go through a little bit of a vetting thing. So these guys, some of them are single and they are specially approved and vetted
for this,
right? Because this is part of what they offer. So I loved it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I mean, I spent
were there
4
toys
nights
and stuff there in the room?
I don't think they had so many, but you could certainly bring stuff. But I was like, "What?" Right? It had never occurred to me that I could just have my pleasure and not have it be about theirs.
And they never pressured you into doing like having sex and stuff after they were eating you out or anything.
Well, so to be fair, I didn't participate. Right? I kept trying to think about what I wanted and everything. And then I just was like, I'm just not sure right now. And I was so in the mode of this is all new, right? I get in hyper mode. I'm teaching, coaching.
Right.
So I didn't, but it definitely gave me lots to think about. And then what I loved
were the guys hot?
They were very attractive. A lot of them, most of them were Black men, which is interesting. And apparently because so many women, and I kind of hate this, but it's because it objectifies, but these are guys that was kind of okay. Like it's still about, and I think of it, well, some men really prefer blondes or redheads and they might pick somebody else. So anyway, if you throw all that aside, because generally, I mean, people were just so nice. But so I met this really awesome, very, very, very attractive couple. They're probably in their 40s. They'd been married for almost 20 years. And they were telling me that she had gone to the +1 room. And I was like, oh my God, right? Tell me everything. Tell me everything. So apparently she had 6 or 7 of them. She was like, I was wearing them out. And I was like, how many times did you come? She's like, I don't know. I can't count. I have no idea. But it was on and on. And she was like, I'm going back tonight. Do you want to come with me? And that I really might have, but it was the last night and I was just so exhausted that I fell asleep. But that would have been fun. Like I could have been there with her. We could have been sharing. Like that to me would have been fun. Yeah, her partner was watching the whole time.
Okay. Can your partner participate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's what you want. But that's the idea, is that it's about what you want. It's not about them thinking they have to mark their territory or something. They have to get all that, whatever, because it is just about your pleasure. It was so cool. I saw an older couple in there. And he was just sitting and watching and stuff. She was having a delightful time. I saw there were some people in wheelchairs, some men in wheelchairs,
really
which I love that they were still part of the whole swinging, the community and stuff. Oh, I also love that people knew each other they might live in separate parts of the country, but they'd met in some other swinger event and they were so happy to be reunited together. There's so many friendships.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, people came to this event from all over, I'm guessing.
All over.
Yeah, and stuff. And then
Europe,
the
Caribbean. Yep.
Yeah.
What about condom? Everyone has to use a condom? Is that the deal?
So that's up to you.
Okay.
It did surprise me that in the +1 room, they had condoms there, but the other rooms, I'm used to places providing them, but this place didn't. So you had to bring your own condoms. So I won't say it's not required that you use condoms, but it is very typical in the swinger lifestyle to use them.
Right.
So I think if you're going to go bare, that's more unusual with somebody, not your partner.
Obviously, right? Because it's really on you to be as safe as you should be.
Yeah.
So.
And one thing, Bob, the guy who runs the place, he told us his bill for towels, right? Because they have towels galore. Everybody who's doing anything, they're using towels and stuff. It's like his accountant asked him once, like, hey, what's this $14,000 bill for towel rental?
That's hilarious.
Right? That's amazing.
Awesome. That's amazing. That's so unique.
So sheets were cleaned immediately. There were 85 people, I think, on staff trying to work and clean and do everything in the playrooms and stuff.
Wow.
And that's what they call the sex rooms or the playrooms.
Right.
So,
but the +1 thing is really cool.
Isn't the +1? Yeah. If you
very
go, next year,
for sure. Definitely.
But really, for any woman out there, I just encourage you, even if you're not swinging and stuff, to just think about what that would be like. Because for me, I never, ever, ever thought about what if it was all about me. Oh my God. And it was so empowering and uplifting just to think that there's a place I could do that. So, and that they would be happy, right? I wasn't going to be taking advantage, or they weren't sacrificing. They were like, please,
or
like,
they wouldn't get like offended or anything like that, like they're, I don't like it this way. Can you do it
next year? You can finally fulfill that bucket list fantasy of yours.
Yeah. I know. It's really, really interesting.
That makes it possible.
Yeah.
Well,
I like it. And this is their kink, right? These guys like that. So anyway. So, it was awesome, all in all.
I'm so happy to hear about everything. This has been so interesting, and obviously you guys can tell how varied of an event this actually is. There's something for basically everyone. They're not, you're gonna find your whatever you want to do.
Right. Some people were incredibly stunningly beautiful. Some people were just okay. Some people were not particularly attractive. Some people were
there
really
were every shape and size of body. There was everybody there.
Really curvy, and there were
in
tall
terms
people,
of
short people,
events too, right? You can really there's so many different things you can do, as you can tell. So
and they were really lovely. So anybody who's worried or anything about it, then and if you're interested in maybe doing this next year, but you are new to this or whatever, then stay tuned, because we're going to find a way, and we're going to try and do maybe we'll do a Houston meet and greet. Maybe we'll do a Zoom call for listeners who are going, but we're going to try and find ways that make it fairly easy and comfortable for people to check it out and see, and have some fun with us and not feel like they're alone in it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to check it out too, you can go to naughty-events.com. That's the website for all of the stuff that they do. You can poke around there and find out more information. But if you want, and you just want it from, people who've been there, and you want it to just be between you and anonymously, email us, comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Whether it's Beth, whether it's me, one of us will email you back, or both of us might email you back and tell you, okay, this is what you're in for. Because it's one of those events that I was nervous on the drive-in, and I was like, this is going to be very interesting to see. And you could have asked me 100 times, what do I think is going to happen? And I never probably would have come up with the idea that I did.
Yeah.
But it is, like I said, it's a very cool event. I can't wait to take my wife, just because, again, being around that much like love and compassion, and like my wife and I are big PDA people, not like full on fucking in public or anything like that, but we'll make out in public. We don't give a shit. There's plenty of that going on. Like I said, last episode, there's 70-year-old men grabbing their wife's ass. There's, 6-year-old women like going and asking like a 40-year-old guy to motorboat him in the middle of a bar. It just fucking happens. It's very interesting, but yeah, naughty-events.com or email us, comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. We'll answer any questions you have about it.
Yeah. And please go to bethdarling.com and sign up for my newsletter. And that way, because hopefully we're going to do some special promotional events for our listeners and community that are going to participate next year. So we'll let you know.
Yeah.
All sorts of fun.
Very cool.
All right, cool. I can't wait. Thank you guys. Thanks, Nina, for letting us.
Yes.
Hopefully we didn't make you too jealous. Like,
you definitely made me very jealous. But
we'll think of this like a long, like, remember the old cartoons with like Wile E. Coyote, and he had a giant long fuse on a thing of dynamite. The fuse has been lit. Now you have 360 or 350 days until it gets to explode.
Of course.
And it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome next year. So
mark it off on your calendar. You're going next year.
And you'll definitely see us there next year. So
and who knows, maybe we'll be doing some other stuff with the Naughty group. I'm already talking to them about some other ideas. So it'll be good. All right. Well, thank you, y'all. It is a pleasure. And Aaron, thank you specifically for all your help at the event. It was so much fun to share this with you. So,
it was a blast.
And thanks to your wife for letting you go. It means a lot. So, all right, y'all. Thank you. So glad that you joined us for Come With Us podcast. This is the show about love, sex, and relationships. Everything a man needs to know. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Come With Us podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at Come With Us Podcast and send in your questions, comments, and confessions to comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Until next time, keep it fun, flirty, and naughty.